What's up, everybody? Welcome back to From Joe Schmo to Tour Pro. Today we're going to be talking about low back sensation or low back tension or pain. So in relation to golf, two things. So I have a lot of lead side tension, which we'll talk a little bit more in depth in week 2. But I also have a lot of tension in my right side low back and my right glute hamstring area. So the first thing I wanted to talk about today was softball, okay? Softball in your hamstring, near your hamstring attachment. So your hamstrings, they go from right here underneath your glutes all the way down the back of your knee, okay? So what we're gonna aim for is we're gonna aim for the meaty part, okay? And understanding that when I do my golf swing, we're kind of throwing this type of an angle in here. I'm gonna aim not for the center, but I'm gonna aim a little bit more on the inside. So take the softball, we're gonna start, we'll start right underneath the glute. Gross. So I'm right underneath, so if this is, we'll go here. If this is my butt cheek, we're going just underneath where the cheek meets the back of the hamstring, okay? And I am slightly on the inside, we'll say slightly medial. When you smash, so first questions first. Why a softball? Because we need a big, broad surface to get in there and manipulate the muscle fibers, especially in your hamstrings. Your hamstrings are really dense. You're using them all the time. So they just have a lot of lactic acid and metabolic waste built up in the region. So that's why a softball. Second thing is, as I'm here, ideally, you want to be here for at least 2 minutes. It takes 2 minutes to create lasting change. What's happening while we're on the softball? What's happening while we're on the softball is we're compressing the region. As we're compressing the region, we're getting your body to send blood and nourishment to this region. If we use this a bunch, like if I use this a bunch in my golf swings or just walking around, you tend to squeeze all the nourishment, all of the blood out of the muscle fibers. The more you squeeze out of the fibers, the more lactic acid metabolic waste gets built up in the compartments. So as you're here and as you're compressing, all your body is doing is sending blood and nourishment to the region, and let's just say it hasn't been able to do that for a while, okay? Sometimes when you're smashing a region, you'll get referral pain. We'll talk about that in a little greater detail. I'm not getting any referral pain, actually I lied. I'm getting just a little bit in the front side of my hip. That lets me know I'm on the right spot, but again, ideally you'd be here for 2 minutes, okay? So that's spot number 1. Spot number 2 would be a little bit closer to the middle of your hamstring, okay? And again, how we talked about, I want it on the back side, it's called posterior, but we also want it on the inside. So I'm just medial of the back half of my hamstring. So if the ball was right here or my hamstring's right here, we're just gonna go on the inside. And ideally, again, you're just gonna find a gunky spot and you're gonna hang out there for 2 minutes. What I like to tell people is on a scale of 1 to 10 intensity, you need it no less than a 5, no more than like a 7 or an 8. How I like to explain this to people is normally when I get an athlete in front of me or I have a training client, I ask them, what intensity do you train at? Normally, everybody will hit me with between a 7 and a 9. And I'm like, wonderful. Then I ask them, what intensity do you recover at? And then they say, 3 or 4. Cool. So what that tells me is that you are under recovering for the amount of intensity that you're putting into the muscle region. So specifically for how I train in the CrossFit gym and how I train in golf, I know I'm at like a, we'll say 7 out of 8 intensity, especially as of lately, but putting more reps in. And so I need to at least match that 7 to 8 intensity to get some long-term, long-lasting relief, okay? So again, I've been here holding it for at least 2 minutes, needed at least a 7 or an 8 out of 10 intensity. So that's my hamstring smash, okay? Ideally, if we had time, we would go a little bit further down into the bottom of the hamstring, do the exact same thing, okay? So 3 spots in your hamstring. You have just underneath your glutes, you have in the middle of your hamstring, and you have near your knee, okay? Again, 2 minutes in any one spot to create lasting change. So that's your hamstring. Another thing is when we go here and we get the hips out of the way to make room for the arms, another spot that likes to build up a bunch of tension is your glute, okay? That is basically your butt cheek. So another thing you can do with your softball is, you don't have to always do this on a box. I'm doing this so that way it's a little easier for you guys to see. But what you can do is you can take this softball in through here, and what you're gonna do is, so here's my butt bone, okay? Everything up in through here is gonna be glute. So what I'm gonna aim to do is I'm gonna aim to get this ball in my glute, okay? So I'm a little high, we'll go a little lower. I'm gonna cross this leg over top, and then I'm just gonna get over on top of the ball, okay? If you do this, if and when you do this, this is a little too intense. Let's say, it's a 10 and I can't sustain this for 2 minutes, you can find a softer surface, okay? But with the understanding that eventually we should work our way into the softball or into a firmer surface, okay? So again, I'm in one spot, okay? Ideally, you're looking to be probably just a little higher. So somewhere, in through here, okay? Hanging out for at least 2 minutes. And then what you would do is you would work anywhere from 2 to 3 spots aside. So that is anywhere along here, okay? Find an intense spot, hang out there for at least 2 minutes, okay? So we've smashed our glutes and we smashed our hamstrings. Those are the 2 regions we smashed. Now what do we have to do? Well, now what we have to do is we have to bring length to the region. So how are we gonna bring length to the region? That's a great question. Easiest way to bring length to the region that we just worked, whether it's your hamstring or whether it's your glute, ideally both of them, because again, we're addressing how much tension we put into our hip as we compress the golf ball. So the easiest one, if you are not super mobile, what you can do is you can sit in this kind of half 90-90 position. And then what you can do is you can work your way down towards the ground, working your chest flat to the ground. So in this position, I feel my glute, I feel my hamstring, I even feel my adductor, that medial thigh hamstring muscle that we were smashing with the softball. Or if you're a little bit more mobile, let's say you have a little bit better hip mobility, then wonderful, you can change it to a pigeon. Okay, so my pigeon is in through here, my leg is behind me. Again, hanging out here for at least 2 minutes. I would say anywhere between 2 to 5 minutes. That way you can sustain the lasting change that you've created. So again, just to recap, we worked our hamstrings, 2 to 3 spots, 2 minutes in any one spot. We've worked our glutes, okay? 2 to 3 spots, 2 minutes in any one spot. And then we've stretched everything that we've just worked. Pigeon stretch, half Z position, anywhere from 2 to 5 minutes. So I hope this is helpful. I'm really excited about these series because this is what I love to do. I do this for a living. So if you have any questions, please leave a comment below and or like and subscribe to the channel. I appreciate your time.